And it's good.
And it is good. We are into halftime, guys. Welcome to the original halftime show here in Broncos country, the Orange Weekly. We are here with you. I'm David. Jared is here with me as well. The Broncos. Oh, wait a minute. Now you've got another flag coming down.
No, my goodness
they picked
gracious.
it up. Nope, they picked it up. 13-0 lead
good.
for the Broncos heading into halftime, guys. And so hit us your comments, hit us your questions. We are quick hitting. Jared, your thoughts on that first half?
Let me tell you a couple things. One, I was cursing the defense and finding out what was going on at the beginning. There's 3 drives that specifically, including the pick 6 drive, where I was like, what happened to our defense and why can't we do anything? Now, the Brock Bowers thing we talked about on the pregame show, right? We talked about on tailgate. We knew that there was going to be some sort of big play where something went wrong. It just happened to be on the first drive of the game. That sucks, right? That's their only touchdown. But the rest of the defense, we were like, why are they letting them drive so good? Obviously, stopping them for a field goal was nice, but they let them drive all the way down there. And then they drove all the way down to the 5-yard line before we got the pick 6. Pat Surtain, huge pick 6 with what a block on Gardner Minshew that they almost threw a flag on. Beautiful defensive play. Spotty called it in the pregame podcast. They were going to get a score on defense finally, and we did. Man, what a game. Only up by 3. Also, 34 seconds left in the game or in the half. We get the ball. We drive down to be able to get into field goal range. Beautiful job. A little bit of a miscommunication between Bo Nix and Cortland Sutton there on the first play. But either way, we got it done. He got down there, got the field goal. That's what we want to see from the Broncos. Now, can we make that happen in the second half?
Yeah, hopefully you get that momentum going there because, before that, there really wasn't a lot of life out of this offense. And, Jared, we were hoping to see more, right? We were certainly hoping to see a little bit more momentum. And, it's another one of those things where just stupid stuff gets in the Broncos' way. They have one decent-looking drive in that first quarter, and then, it gets backed up by a penalty, then a sack by Max Crosby, then another penalty, and you're in second down and 28 or something like that. And
it was 34 or something like that. It was something ridiculous.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, we knew that Max Crosby was going to make a difference, right? We knew when he was activated, we were like, okay, he's going to get hidden. He's going to get his plays. We just know that as an athlete, he's going to get it. It just kind of snowballed really to the point where we were out of field goal range. Luckily, we were able to make it up, and Will Lutz with the what'd you call him? Big Nuts Lutz.
That's it.
Big kick, with the big kick on that. But man, what a way to get back into it. And I thought we were out of scoring position. I thought we were going to lose points on that drive. Thank God we got points on that drive because now we're up 13-10 at half.
Right. Absolutely right. And I think that was on that last drive there, that field goal drive. I think that was Troy Franklin's first catch in the NFL. So congratulations to the young man. Maybe second, maybe not first. But anyway, guys, and I can see let's get into the Sean Payton of it right now. Because, man, I'll tell you something. It just feels like, there's a little bit of pressure coming from this Raiders defensive line right now, right? But it doesn't feel like the Broncos offense has a ton of answers, and that just bothers me. And, you're also seeing, we've been seeing misses like that ball to Cortland Sutton for a lot of the year, and I'm wondering, is it just the amount of choice routes that Sean Payton loves to run, and we're just not having the quarterback and the wide receiver on the same page?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I was wondering about that, if that was a choice route as well. It looked like, Bo Nix obviously was expecting the dig, and he ended up running a curl on that. But I don't know if that was a play call thing or if it's just miscommunication with a rookie quarterback in a new system. I'm not 100% sure. It looked like both of them were disappointed. So I think maybe it was a choice route. It looked like both of them were like, what the heck are you doing, dude?
Right.
Yeah, but shout out to I'll say this. Love the end around to Marvin Mims. We called it once. It got us out of a sticky situation. So great. Finally getting him back involved. Hopefully we get him more than just the end arounds, because that'd be weird. But other than that, I don't know. Javonte Williams is playing a great game. He's getting a lot of screens. He's getting a lot of, which we expected because of the aggressiveness of the defensive line and the blitzes that Antonio Pierce is dialing up against us. The screens have been working out, and so far Javonte Williams is running a pretty hard game. So I'll give him that. I don't know so much if I don't like the play calls in this game. That's not one of the things as I was watching this game that I was like, I don't like the play calls. I think it's just the execution on a lot of it. A lot of it is just the execution on it.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. And I'll tell you, that's what I've been seeing that's what I thought I was seeing from the defense too. It was just a couple of plays in that first half where they found themselves out of position. The Raiders are getting the ball out quickly, to their credit, and they're getting the ball out quickly to the edges, which is a really good way to take advantage of an aggressive defense that likes to blitz, right? So credit to them for that. But the Brock Bowers play on that first drive, for instance, it's not like PJ Locke was in terrible coverage. He kind of just loses his balance, and that's the end.
Slipped.
Yeah.
And we knew it too. We talked about it in the pregame. We talked about it on the tailgate talk. Brock Bowers is going to be their number one threat. And that's really what it comes down to. And we saw that at the first two drives. It was all Brock. It was either Brock Bowers or Gardner Minshew running it, which I don't think anybody was expecting Gardner Minshew to be able to take off for as many yards as he's gotten so far on us. Right. So I think there's that might be an adjustment towards the second half for our defense, is making sure that we have some sort of answer to the rushing of Gardner Minshew. But hey, guys, we love talking about this stuff. But post your questions and comments. Let us know what you guys are thinking with that first half, because we'd love to hear you guys' thoughts. That's why we do this, the original halftime show for the Denver Broncos. Make sure you're letting us know what you felt. The Broncos felt a little out of sync, Gary. I kind of agree. Offensively, it looked like they were a little bit out of sync. And again, I don't know how, David, I don't know how many times can we say, like, at what point in the season, or is it the whole season, that we can say, like, Bo Nix is a rookie quarterback in a very, very complex offensive system.
Yeah, no, and
are we blaming it? I can't blame Bo Nix, right?
I know it's hard, Jared. It's hard because you want, you wish that it was going to happen on a different schedule than it's going to happen on, and it's concerning just because the schedule that it feels like it's happening on now, it feels like there's a high chance that you're not going to see it sometimes. And, there's still time for that to turn around this season. You thought maybe going into this game, you had a really good opportunity for Bo Nix to get some more chances down the field. And to be honest, he hasn't, he's looked better than he has against the Jets that last game without a torrential downpour. I think he's got close to 100 yards passing this first half. But yeah, it's just going to take more time with him. It's just going to take more time for him and Sean Payton to mesh gears here a little bit. And we're at least seeing them a little bit more committed to the run game. And that's a really good point by Andrew here. Nix's demeanor, he's never getting low. Like he's never getting too low. He's always going out there. He's going to try and do what he does. I think he's trusting himself. He's seeing what he's seeing right now, but he's not holding his head down. He's not getting too down on himself, and that's what you can ask for.
And it showed in those last two passes, right? He missed Cortland Sutton on the miscommunication, and then comes out and throws almost the exact same drive to somebody else. Was it Orlando Franklin that ended up catching the ball, or not Orlando Franklin?
Franklin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Franklin ends up catching the ball. So he comes back out and he continues to do it. And I think what he's doing is he's going to Cortland Sutton and being like, all right, what are you seeing that I'm not, right? And he's being able to be that player and have that demeanor of like, hey, let's do this. What do we need to do to get that level? So let's say, thank you guys so much for the comments. We're going to hit some of these real quick. So Andrew before that said, had thought the defense was being out schemed early on. We talked about that already. Yeah, it's absolutely. Yeah. And then loving how we are turning the ball over, or really happy with how little we're turning the ball over. Yeah. I mean, I think, again, our number one special teams in the league, being able to flip the field position on them has been absolutely tremendous for us. And I think that one of the biggest reasons we won that Jets game in the whole thing. Let's see, making halftime adjustments will be fine. Slow down Bowers, we are okay. I agree, Sean. I think slowing down Bowers and making sure Gardner Minshew is either being pressured and doesn't have a lane. I don't know if that means we need to spy on him or do something, but we got to make sure he doesn't have a lane to run it, because that's a lot of the big offensive drives were kept alive by him taking off.
On third down specifically, yeah.
Yeah, Neil, welcome back. Neil, living his best retired life right now, watching it out, camping right now. Defense is real, just absolutely killing it. PS2 with a big interception. Let's talk about that pick six, man.
Oof.
Well, again, another drive that we're all the way up to that point where like, what is this defense doing? Why can't we stop them? And then we did what we talked about, right? We got pressure on the quarterback, made him make a mistake, and PS2 just running the ball. I think someone earlier said it looked like he was running in slow motion, just taking it all the way home for a 100-yard pick six. Haven't seen that since Aqib Talib, and I am loving it.
Pumped, absolutely pumped. And Cody Barton, like you said, got that great block on Gardner Minshew, put his ass in the dirt, didn't do an illegal block, no holding, no kind of block in the back stuff. It was clean all the way. And yeah, pick 6 for PS2, who has, the coaching staff has been teasing him a little bit this offseason about his lack of ball production, just because the opposing quarterbacks just don't throw at him. So he hasn't had a ton of opportunity for picks. But Gardner Minshew makes a mistake on that play. He sails that ball to Brock Bowers. I mean, Bowers was open on that play. I don't know if he gets into the end zone on that play. It looked like there was a good chance he would get tackled. But right, absolutely. He sailed the ball over his head, and PS2 was right there, and it just, oh God, it was the best play. Whoo!
Yeah, we were debating.
I'll tell you what honestly, else, those uniforms.
Oh yeah, I know. I know you were going to say it. I knew you were going to mention it at some point. They look so clean out there, but. Terry, we were talking about this. We were talking about this in the Orange Weekly chat too. I don't remember. I think the Cowboys game. I want to say it was Aqib Talib in the Cowboys game took a 100-yard to the house as well. We'll probably end up looking this up. Tune into the Tuesday show. We'll have an answer for you on whether or not that's the longest one. But I'm super excited about that. Sean with Ferboni will rally the men in the locker room. Will come out fired up. Oh man, the Ferboni stand. I love it.
Absolutely. Well, the Fraboni hype this offseason and this current season is real. Like, we got the long snapper getting a lot of love, number 48, and for good reason. So yeah, it's one of those, we keep saying it. If you don't know the long snapper's name, it's usually a good thing, but with a name like Ferboni,
Yeah. All right. This is our producer telling us we got 3 minutes left in the show. So make sure you're hitting those comments. We'll finish it off here in a minute. I do want to mention this one. We talked about this in the pregame podcast as well, and on Tuesday night show. God, I hate Crosby, and I hate him. I only hate him because he plays for the Raiders. I love his work ethic. I love him. He's just a monster. He's an athlete. We knew he was going to get back there. And there's going to be another play down the line that he's going to make. And we know this. But we gotta figure out a way to get away from it. And honestly, other than the one sack and maybe one big hit in the backfield, he's been kind of isolated. We haven't seen much of him. So if we can keep that up in the second half, then I think we'll be doing a good job. You can only do so much against a guy like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, and it's you really have been the one time they left him one-on-one was that big sack that we saw, and then outside of that, I've seen tight ends helping Alex Falchevsky on that side of the field quite a bit. So I can see how they'll probably keep that up. I hope they keep running the ball. They have, I think, 45 yards rushing in that first half. That's not pedestrian. I mean, it's not terrible. And Javonte Williams has looked good. I think I know this Raiders defensive front has been pretty tough, but I think you keep going at it. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, Dave, let's we got a couple minutes left. We get the ball in the second half. Thank you, Terry. We do get the ball in the second half. We deferred at the beginning. What do? We got to drive down. We obviously want to drive down the field and at least get some sort of points on the board to go up a little bit more. But being up 13-10 feels good right now, doesn't it?
I mean, honestly, like right now, I don't want to say it's over, but if you score a touchdown on this opening drive to start the second half, you're in a really good position for the rest of the game. Now, that being said, the offense has not scored. Every time we say if you score a touchdown here, those have been few and far between for this offense.
We have not had an offensive score this entire game yet. And so the other point too is after the pick six, the defense really was stepping it up. Like the defense really got their momentum after that pick six of like, guys, we can do this. Like this isn't rocket science, right? We can come out and we could do this thing. And I think the offense just needs that, right? I think the offense needs a good drive down the field to finish out a drive. We had a good drive that ended up, a snowball effect that finally ended up in 3 points in that first half. But ultimately, we just need a drive that scores. We need a touchdown drive to get the momentum going. And I think Bo Nix is starting to find his I think he's finding his rhythm a little bit more as the game has progressed.
I hope so. Absolutely. All right. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for coming to the original halftime show. We will be back with the post-game podcast tomorrow. We will be back with the Bourbon Broncos and No BS show on Tuesday. And we are getting ready for that second half kickoff. Thank you so much again for joining us, guys. And Jared, I think it's time to end out as we usually do on a strong Go Broncos.
Broncos. Let's go.
Thanks so much for joining us, guys. Let's do this.